Why do so many brands look the same and yet don't get sued? Have you ever seen two logos or two ads or even two product designs and thought, wait, isn't this copying? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Copying is not always illegal. In fact, some of the biggest brands in the world do it very strategically. Now, let us clear one thing that law doesn't protect the ideas, it protects how those ideas are expressed. Now, the single distinction, that is, idea versus expression, is the reason why brands can copy each other and still stay within the law. And if you don't understand this as a law student, you're going to miss how the real world IP law actually works. Think of it like this: minimalistic logo idea, a specific logo design, expression. Anyone can use a minimalistic style, but they cannot copy the exact design. This applies across logos, advertisements, product packaging, even website layout. Now, law protects originality and not inspiration. Here is where it gets even more interesting. Brands don't randomly look similar. They follow the industry trends. For example, tech brands, they have clean, minimal, sans serif font. Luxury brands, black, gold, and serif fonts. D2C brands, pastel colors, soft typography. Why? Because design choices signal trust, quality, and modernity. So when brands copy each other, they're often just playing within the same language. Now comes a big question that why copying becomes illegal. It often becomes a problem when there is a likelihood of confusion, deceptive similarity, or damage to the brand's reputation. In trademark law, the test is simple. Will an average consumer get confused? If yes, you have a case. If not, it usually doesn't matter and copying is allowed. So let's break this down with different scenarios that you may actually encounter. Now, let's say there are two brands who use similar colors and fonts, but have very different names, and that is something that's usually legal. Let's talk about the other scenario where the name is same, but the spelling is slightly different. It's very risky because there is phonetic similarity. Now, let's talk about the third scenario. Your packaging looks very identical. So it could be, passing off or a trade dress infringement. Now, here is what big brands often do so that they don't copy each other blindly. They copy strategically. They take inspiration from the trends, but they avoid direct duplication. They add distinct elements to stay legally safe. Now, this is not accidental, it is calculated. And honestly, this is where law meets business strategy. In law school, you will study definitions, but in the real world, you will deal with everything that is gray. No client will come and say to you that I copied this exactly. They'll say it is inspired. And your job is to figure out whether the inspiration it crosses the legal line. If you want to build a career in IP law, you need to understand this. It is not just about law, it's also about your perception. You need to think like a consumer, like a business owner, and a strategist. And this is what separates lawyers from high value advisors. So next time you see that there are two brands that look very similar, don't jump to conclusion. Ask yourself, is this copying or is it just smart positioning? Because in IP law, that small difference is everything. Now tell me, do you think brands today copy too much or is it just strategy? Drop your thoughts in the comment section.